morning everyone. In today's class we are going to discuss about decision making and looping. Okay. In the last class we have seen that it is possible to execute a segment of program repeatedly by using go to statement. We have already studied go to statements, right? So let's revise it once again by taking one example. So here it is given a logic to calculate sum of squares of all integers between 1 to 10. So we are going to calculate sum of squares of integers from 1 to 10. Okay. For this program we require two variables. One is for storing the number, that is from 1 to 10, that is n, and one is one variable for calculating the sum of squares, so that is sum. So both the variables are initialized first. So before using these variables, those are initialized to some values. So here we are initializing sum to 0 and n to 1. N is nothing but the number which varies from 1 to 10. That's why we are initializing it to 1, not to 0, because it is from 1 to 10. Okay. So in the next statement we have loop. So this is called label. In go to statement we have studied that the variable or the label will be mentioned for go to statements, right? So here loop is the label. And inside this loop what we are doing is sum is equal to sum plus n star n. We have to calculate the squares of sum, correct? Sorry, sum of squares. So initially sum is initialized to 0. That's why in the first statement what happens? Sum is equal to sum is 0, 0 plus n star n, that is 1 star 1. 1 into 1 is 1. So 0 plus 1, that is 1. 1 will be stored in sum now. So now sum has changed from 0 to 1. In the next statement we are going to check whether n equals to 10, because we are going to calculate the sum of squares only from 1 to 10. So once the number becomes 10 we have to stop it, right? That's why we have to check whether n is equal to 10. Is n equal to 10? No, n is equal to 1 now. So we are not going to execute go to print statement. We are skipping that statement. So else part will be executed because n is not equals to 10. That's why else part will be executed. In else what we are doing? We are incrementing n by 1 because now we have to calculate the square of second number, that is 2. That's why we have to increment n by 1. So initially n was 1, now n has become 1 plus 1, that is 2. That is stored in variable n. Now 2 is stored in variable n. In the next statement again we are going to the label loop, go to loop. This particular statement will jump the control to the loop label, that is here. So our control will go from here to here, loop. Again all these statements will be executed. So now again we are going to calculate the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus n star n. What is stored in sum? The updated value of sum is 1. So 1 plus n star n. What is the new value of n? 2. 2 into 2. So 2 into 2, 4. 4 plus 1, that is 5. Now 5 is stored in sum. Again in the next condition we are going to check whether n is equal to 10. Is n equal to 10? No. What is the new value of n? It is 2. So n is not equal to 2, that's why we are not going to go to the go to statement, right? Hence else statement will be executed. Again we are going to increment n by 1, 3. So now n becomes 3. 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. And in the next statement again we are jumping back to the loop label. So this process will continue till n becomes 10. So once n becomes 10, what happens is, when the control comes here, it is going to check whether n equals to 10. Is n equals to 10? Yes, because n is now reached to 10. That's why this statement will be executed. Go to print. So where is the print label? When the counter encounters go to print, it will jump to the print label. Where is the print label? It is here. That's why the control will go from here to here. Print. So what is there in the print label? Printf statement. So sum is mod d. Since it is integer, we are going to print sum is mod d, that is sum. So finally once n becomes 10, the result will be displayed on the screen, that is sum is mod d. I hope this program is understood. Okay. So yeah, this is the summary of the program. This program does the following things. It initializes the variable and it also initializes the sum variable. Yeah, this is sum is equal to 0 and n is equal to 1. This is called initialization. So it first initializes the variable n and sum, okay, and then it computes the square of n and adds it to the sum. Yes, it computes the square of n and adds it to the sum, and the same thing is stored in sum, and it tests the value of n to see whether it is equal to 10 or not. So this is nothing but testing the value of n, whether it is equal to 10 or not. If it is equal to 10, then the program prints the result. If n is 10, it will print the result. That is, it will go to the print label and it prints the result. Otherwise, if n is less than 10, if n is not equals to 10, then it is incremented by 1 and the control goes back to compute the sum again. That is, sum is equal to sum plus n star n. That is, if n is not equals to 10, if n is less than 10, then else will be executed. In else, there are two statements where one is for incrementing n will be incremented, and then we are jumping back to the loop where sum will be calculated. So this is the whole summary of this program, right? So in C, there are two types of controlled loops. There are two types of control loops, that is entry control loop and exit control loop. So always remember one thing, a program loop always consists of two segments. Program loop, if there is a loop, then it always consists of two segments. What are those? One is body of the loop and the other is called control statement. Body of the loop and control statement. You can see here, this is body of the loop and this is called control statement. or test condition. So based on this place of the control statement, we are going to categorize this control loop into two types: entry control loop and exit control loop, based on the loop control structures, where exactly the control loop is placed. In entry control loop, you can see that test condition is placed before body of the loop. It means we are going to check the condition first. So before entering the body of the loop, the test will be checked. If the test becomes true, then only we are going to enter the body. Otherwise, it will come out of the loop. It will never be executed if the test condition becomes false. That's why it is called entry control loop, because before entering the body of the loop, we are going to check the condition. If the conditions are not satisfied, then the body of the loop will never be executed. So in entry control loop, the control conditions are tested before the start of the loop execution. Okay. So in case of exit control loop, you can see that the test condition comes after the body of the loop. It means that at least once the body of the loop will be executed, and then the test condition will be checked. So the test is performed at the end of the body of the loop, and then therefore the body is executed unconditionally for the first time, because first the body of the loop will be executed and then the condition will be checked. So if the condition becomes false, in the next pass the body will not be executed, but for the first time body of the loop will always be executed. So in the main difference between entry control loop and exit control loop is, in entry control loop, it is not necessary that the body of the loop will be executed, because if the condition itself is false in the first pass itself, then the body of the loop will never be executed. Whereas in exit control loop, whatever the test condition may be, at least once the body of the loop will be executed, at least once. So first the body of the loop will be executed and then the test condition will be checked. So if the test condition becomes false, then this will not happen. If the test condition becomes false, I think there is a mistake here. They have interchanged true and false. This should be true and this should be false. In the textbook they have given wrong. Okay, because if the test condition becomes true, then only again the body of the loop will be executed, otherwise it will come out of the loop. They have given wrong. Please correct the changes. Okay, yeah, if the test condition becomes false, then the body of the loop will not be executed again. That's why in exit control loop, at least once the body of the loop will be executed. Okay, yes.